Welcome back to Casually Caffeinated. My name is Brooke Salazar, and I'm an associate in-house counsel and HR consultant here at Apex Benefits, and I'm joined by Sarah Michaels, our director of population health, and she's not only that, but she's also an RN. And we are here to talk to you today about the vaccine rollout plan and invite you to our webinar on January 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we'll have a registered nurse, a pharmacist, and a lawyer all walk into a webinar. And so let's get started. Sarah, how are you?
I am so good. Thanks for having us. I know I'm so excited for the 28th, and I think what we all know is no matter what happens today, it's probably going to change in a couple weeks. And so I think the best part is we're able to really stay relevant by doing our research up front to bring you guys the latest and the greatest, because everything we're about to say right now could change entirely by the 28th. Isn't that right? And I mean, Brooke, you know it best. You're sending me texts even on the weekends as these changes are coming.
I am. I think we're going to see, and it's not an I think, it's an I know, we're going to see the vaccination rollout plan change dramatically from a state effort to a federal effort. And I am really looking forward to be able to ask Dr. Park my questions about the vaccine without having to pay my copay to my doctor. So that's one of the things I'm super excited about, is to be able to hear information from Dr. Park, from Aaron Alberts, who's our pharmacist, as well as you, Sarah, about the facts of the vaccine.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who don't know, we work closely with Dr. Park all the time, but he's actually the president over at American Health Network. To be able to have him as one of our speakers, we're so excited. We also had amazing news that Marathon Health is going to join us in these efforts too, with their chief medical officer. That's so important too, because all the questions that I'm getting on the clinical side are, what does this look like if we have an on-site clinic or a near-site clinic? Because we truly believe that primary care and those clinics will start to partner together once the vaccinations are readily available. So I think to have those two people on board to give us the latest and greatest that they know might be firsthand knowledge that we have yet to hear.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the clinics, because in the Biden plan, he is asking for $20 billion for the national vaccine program. And he's really looking to bring in community centers, gyms, churches, federal vaccine centers to get, I think he wants, 100 million doses administered in the first 100 days.
Which, for those of you guys who might not be following as closely as Brooke and I might, to give you guys reference to what that means, as of 1/14, we're going to say, there were just over 12 million people that have received at least the first round of doses. Now, bringing it back to the state of Indiana, as of the time of this webinar, so far we've had 300,000 people that have received the vaccine. Now, 61,000 have received both doses of the vaccine, but 300,000 have at least received one dose of the vaccine. So with Brooke's numbers that she just stated, I mean, that's a dramatic increase from that 12 million up to what you guys are projecting potentially in the next month.
Absolutely. And he's really looking to FEMA, employing National Guard, to be able to handle that amount of people. And so when we talk about first this plan, we want to know, what does it mean to our community?
Right.
What does it mean to our organizations? And what does it mean for me? Right? Just like anything else that happens in Washington.
And will there be enough doses? I mean, some of the research that we've seen, that's to get in the hands of one dose. What is the second dose going to look like? Which, to be truly effective, studies have shown we need both those doses.
I think we're going to see some interesting things happen with the Defense Production Act. And I think we're not on new legal ground, but we're definitely in a new environment. So as a legal, I'm not going to say scholar, because I'm definitely not a legal scholar, but from a legal perspective, it will get interesting. And one of those things that we talked about with who's going to administer the vaccine, it's kind of really shifted, because at first we were worried about those hard to reach places and how employers were going to get folks to the vaccine centers. And now the Biden plan is talking about mobile units being deployed. to those hard to reach rural places.
And who knows what that means, like who's going to actually administer it. Right now we have some high standards in place that you have to be specifically trained to do it. Somebody in our own office was saying their wife works in a dental office, and they're even being asked already of who would be willing to administer if the doses come to that. That'll be a game changer, because the more people that are able to administer these vaccines, we know the greater distribution there's going to be. And really, Brooke, in your new role over diversity, the biggest thing I know you're looking at is that's huge for our rural areas, or for some of our other areas that might not have the best accessibility or transportation to get vaccinated.
I think so. And I think that takes us back to, funnily enough, our webinar on the 28th at 11. So I'm going to be talking about a vaccination rollout plan. So as we start to see things really speed up, I would encourage you to attend, because if you attend, you will get a template for vaccine rollout plan.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that might be included in that template and why we'd want to be part of this?
Absolutely. So things such as communication, right? So I'm classically not a communication or a marketing person. I think everyone knows that about me. I have nothing creative to really offer. However, we do need to understand what our workforce thinks about the vaccine. What hesitancies do they have about the vaccine? And then there are folks with pre-existing conditions that can't get the vaccine, or cultural concerns based on their own experiences. So we really have to tailor messages and tailor our facts and transparency to those audiences. And unless we survey folks and we understand what they are thinking, it's going to be harder and harder to do. And so as we think about incentives, I think it was the dollar store, Dollar General, was doing incentives for their folks to get the vaccine. However, we do have to take into consideration some of those wellness rules,
Yeah.
right?
There's a lot of compliance behind it, and we need to make sure that we're following those compliance standards.
Absolutely. And so that template is going to walk you through how to build a communication plan, how to have those one point of contacts for your vendors, et cetera. And it's just going to take you, that template is going to take you step by step. And of course you can alter it as you need, because we're in a very dynamic environment right now.
Right.
And as information becomes available, everything is going to shift. But having the template to begin with is going to allow you to be able to roll smoother when the vaccine is available.
That's awesome. I know our HR professionals are going to absolutely love that, and they get credit just for attending. So make sure, if you guys need some continued ed hours, make sure you attend this webinar on the 28th. And the last thing I'd probably leave you guys with is, the other thing is, by then, if we do have big changes to the administration and the rollout plan, we're going to bring those to you. So as of now, if you're looking at this podcast that we're doing, ourshot.in.gov is always going to have the latest and greatest in terms of registration updates for the state of Indiana. As of now, they have opened it up to anybody over the age of 70, still our healthcare professionals, and of course anybody in those long-term care facilities. Tune in on the 28th at 11 a.m. and see if any of that has changed. My guess is we will start to see more essential workers rolling out, including those in food, transportation, even manufacturing. So with Brooke, I'm so excited to join you and the rest of the panelists on the 28th.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. We'll see you guys all then.